Okay, so how did we get here? I don't know. It's just a couple of days ago, I was going through a list of books that were popular when I was younger because I just wanted to see what kind of stuff I used to read back then. And I kind of came across the House of Night series. And then I remembered that when I was growing up, it was pretty popular. Like, after the whole Twilight rage, everyone wanted to find more vampire media, and House of Night was one of them. But it kind of just disappeared. I don't think it ever had the kind of popularity that something like Vampire Diaries or Twilight did, because as far as I'm aware, there was never like a movie series or television show based on these books. So yeah, I came across these books and I thought, let's give it a try, because I have never read any of these books. And see, when I was young, I was a child of God. I didn't cuss, I stayed away from anything I thought it was inappropriate, and these books were pretty inappropriate for a child. 14-year-old me would never guess the kind of things I would go on to read in fanfic like it was nothing. How the times have changed. Anyways, so I got the first book, which is called Marked, and I read it. And 14-year-old me was right. Some things are just better ignored. First book reads like fanfic, and not like the good AO3 fanfic. No, it reads like a fanfic you would find on Wattpad, written by a teenager who thinks the world is out to get them. Which is, if you think about it, it's funny, but then you realize this was written by an adult and you're just like, okay. Lord. The book is not good, and I'm gonna break down why. Marked, the first book in the series, isn't really interested in properly introducing the characters to you. You don't get to know them or understand the world they're living in. Nope. Getting to know characters and getting invested in their lives is for losers. Instead, Marked takes off like it's in a race, and it doesn't slow down even for a second. And by the end of the book, all you're left with is a mess of forced relationships that the book tries desperately to make you believe are special and true. And the story basically takes place over I think less than a week. And we're supposed to believe that all the characters who've just met are friends for life. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't believe that. And despite how fast-paced the book is, it barely has any substance. Let's get down into the story. It's pretty predictable. Zoe is a normal teenager until one day she gets marked and finds out that she's on her way to becoming a vampire. And you'd be wondering, why the hell did I say the word marked like that? In the book, the word marked is, every time it's mentioned with a capital M, just emphasizing how important it is. So yeah, Zoe gets marked and finds out that she's on her way to becoming a vampire, so she has to leave everything behind and go to the House of Night, a finishing school for vampires, because that's a thing that everyone wanted. There, in the finishing school, she must learn to accept that her old life is gone, and she's more special than any other person on the planet. And I'm not joking about the last part. Literally, there are so many scenes in the book where characters keep telling Zoe how special she is. And, why wouldn't she be special? She's the protagonist of a YA novel. And she has all the ingredients that make her special. She has a dad who walked out. He went to get milk, never came back. She has a mom who got remarried and became completely obsessed with her new husband to the point that she started neglecting her children. And of course, she has a stepdad who's abusive, because that's what makes a good YA protagonist. In fact, her parents are super religious people who hate vampires. So, when they find out that their daughter is going to be a vampire, they immediately call all the priests and everyone in their religious circle to, pray the evil away. Oh, Lord. And of course, she has a best friend who instantly turns on her. In this book, the best friend is known as Kayla, and we only see her briefly in the beginning of the book, and she's supposed to be Zoe's best friend forever. They've known each other for years, but it takes her less than 5 seconds to turn on Zoe and start hitting on her ex-boyfriend. As teenagers are. Lord, I hate this book so much. But I'm gonna give this book credit where credit is due. While it wasn't trying, it was so funny at certain points. I think for me, the funniest scene was like the very first scene of the book, which introduces us to our protagonist. And they do it in the perfect way possible. Zoe is in an empty hallway with her best friend, and they're talking about her ex-boyfriend Heath and how Zoe should forgive him and get back together with him. When suddenly, a guy pops up out of nowhere, walks up to Zoe, gets in her face and screams, "Zoe, you have been marked!" He screams that she has been marked, and it's written as this super dramatic scene. But when I finished reading that, I had to put my phone down for a bit and just really laugh at how hilarious the whole thing was. So yeah, that is how someone gets turned into a vampire in this series. There's no process like, in Twilight, you get bitten and there's a venom that slowly turns you into a vampire. Or in Vampire Diaries, you have to be bitten, fed vampire blood, and then killed. And then you come back to life, and then you have to drink blood to truly become a vampire. No complicated process like that. No. In this book, there's a thing called a tracker, and he'll track down people who have the potential to be a vampire, scream at their face, and they get marked. And yeah, when they get marked, they have this crescent moon type of a tattoo that appears on their forehead. But, and this is important, guys, so keep this in mind, the tattoo isn't filled out, it's just a line in the beginning. It gets filled out as you go through the process of becoming a vampire, which actually takes years. It doesn't happen over a few days. It takes years. That's why they have to go to a vampire finishing school. This might have been the worst vampire transformation lore ever. Why would you make it so tedious? Actually, no. Why would you make it so tedious and mix it in with high school? Just the worst years of someone's life. But yeah, that's the first scene of the book, so you know what you're getting into. Unfortunately, the book doesn't have other funny scenes like this one. Instead, it's just insanity all around, and not the good kind of insanity. It's the kind of insanity that you just read and you just go like, what the fuck is going on here? Anyways, Zoe gets marked, her parents call the religious people, she runs away to her grandmother, who's the only person who understands her. She has a vision, and her mark gets filled in, which makes her super popular at school because they're like, oh my god, you just got marked a few days ago and it's already filled in. Huh? I want to point out though that in this book, Zoe does have some Native American ancestry, which plays a big role into her transformation into a vampire. I'm personally not going to be touching on that because I don't think I have enough knowledge to, go like, hey, that's not right or that's okay or anything like that. So that's why I'm kind of just straying away from that particular topic. So yeah, let's get back to the rest of the story. So basically, Zoe has to go to this new school, leave behind everything she knows, and there in this new school, Zoe meets her new friends. And these aren't just ordinary friends, not like Kayla. No, they're not gonna hit on her ex-boyfriend. These are her ride or die friends who'd give up anything for her even though they've known her for a hot second. So you have Stevie Ray, who is Zoe's roommate, and she wants to be a country singer. Then there's Erin and Shauna, who really don't have a personality. With them, it's more like the writer just wrote dialogues for one character and then just gave those dialogues to two different characters, but they're exactly alike. So yeah, they also call each other twin throughout the whole book, and I want to kill them. Yeah, they're not really twins, by the way. And then finally there's Damien. He is the know-it-all of the group. Like, if you need an information dump, Damien's your guy. And there's something very important about Damien that the book makes sure to, mention over and over again, and that's the fact that he's gay. Do not forget that. The book really wants you to know that Damien is gay. And it's not like it's trying to be open-minded, have an inclusive cast. No, because Damien is introduced in the book in such a way, I can't even name it. I'm just gonna read out how they introduce him, and this is the line word for word. They say, and this is the token guy in our group, Damien Maslin, but he's gay, so I don't think he counts as a guy. Thanks, PC cast. The inclusivity here is killing me. There's more, by the way. It doesn't end here. No. This is how they describe him. He had a smooth face that was totally zit-free and dark brown hair and eyes that reminded me of a baby deer. Actually, he was cute. Not in the overly girly way so many teenage guys are when they decide to come out and tell everyone what everyone already knew. Well, everyone except their typically clueless and or in denial parents. Damien wasn't a swishy girly guy. He was just a cute kid with a likable smile. Guys, homophobia has been cured. It's all thanks to PC Cost. No, really, what the fuck? What is this? God, I hate it so much. I just read this part and I was just like, wow, I want to meet the person, the editor who read this and okayed it, like went like, okay, yeah, this is great, this is perfect. But this isn't the least problematic thing in the book. I wish it was, but no. In our cast of characters, of course, we also have Zoe's love interest. And by the way, he's only her love interest for now. She already has an ex-boyfriend who is head over heels for her, and then the hottest guy in the school that everybody wants is suddenly into Zoe, but he's never met her, he doesn't know her, he doesn't know anything about her, but he just instantly is into her. Because that's how these stories go. Personality. You don't need that. And in this character, you will find the worst scene ever. Eric Knight, that's the name of the character, and he isn't introduced to us like a normal heartthrob is. No. When Eric is introduced to us, he is getting a forced blowy from his ex-girlfriend. And when I say forced blowy, I mean forced because throughout the scene he keeps saying no while his ex-girlfriend keeps saying, "Oh no, I know you want me." Why? And if that wasn't bad enough, this entire scene is thrown back in his face later on as if this was a mistake he made and not, something that was forced on him. Like, assault. What do I know though? Obviously, PC Cost had an editor and everything checking these things. God, I hate this book so much. So yeah, that's Eric, one of the worst scenes ever. And I had the privilege to read it. Please don't read this book. Don't do this to yourselves. But yeah, that's marked. Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff that happens in this book. Vampires worship the goddess Nyx. She's the Greek goddess of the night, and they all worship her, and they have rituals regarding her. Vampires are also not technically undead. They try to bring in a scientific reason behind the existence of vampires, something to do with a junk DNA sequence that gets activated when they get marked. But then there's also magic. Yeah, vampires can do magic, and Zoe is our super special character who has an affinity with all 5 elements, those being fire, water, air, earth, and spirit. And there are covens, because vampires weren't enough. These vampires also have to be pseudo-witches. So they have covens within the school, and Zoe becomes the next high priestess in training because she's so special. Lord, I hate this book so much. I think I've said that 3 times now. The sentiment remains. The book's bad guy is the school's mean girl, Aphrodite. She's bitchy, hates anyone who is remotely special, so obviously she hates Zoe, tries to become her enemy, they all take her down, and then it turns out, apparently Aphrodite goes that, "Oh, I was just playing a role, we are all being used." But she never explains, because mystery. How did these books get popular? What the hell? Were our standards so low back then? You know what, I don't want to know. But yeah, this was marked the first book in the House of Night series. It was rushed. It basically had no plot for some reason. Zoe has no personality. She's just a super special kid that everybody is in love with. Like, I read the synopsis of the second book, and it turns out that even one of her teacher falls in love with her, and then I kind of just dug a bit deeper and found out that, oh, there are several other people who also fall in love with her because she's so super special. Am I going to read the next book? Well, I have it. Might as well. I've already started this journey. Let's see it through the end. This is really me showing me that I hate myself.